you feel if a stranger decided whether or not your father lived today? This person doesn't know anything about the way he used to volunteer at church, go ice skating with his children, or even know how he was the funniest ball player in high school. All they know is he made a mistake and now it's his time to die. In 2007, a girl by the name of Isella Wiggins stood on trial and told the jury that she didn't want her daddy to die because he used to watch Scooby-Doo with her and take her on road trips. This 5-year-old spoke to the jury about how she didn't want them to send her daddy to heaven. It's easy to say that somebody deserves a death penalty when you don't know them. Every time someone is sentenced to die, you're killing someone's mother, father, brother, or sister. Every time the jury decides on the death penalty, you're planning to kill someone's child. Okay, so I feel like that there's never any instances where it's okay to take another human being's life. So do you think that there's any times that it is okay to have the death penalty?
No, I don't think so. I feel like nobody deserves to die against their will like that. And if they do something terrible, they should at least get life in jail. But they definitely shouldn't go out the way that the death penalty says they should go out.
Any case, what do you think about it?
The capital punishment, you mean the death penalty? I don't think it's acceptable because just because someone did something wrong doesn't mean necessarily their life should be taken away because of it. I think they should do something else, like maybe community service, give back to the community, or something like that.
Okay. I personally think that there isn't. I think each human life is precious no matter who the person is, what the person has done in the past. So even though the person may be horrible, I think that they should still have the chance to live their life even if it is in prison.
What other options would you give as an alternative to the death penalty?
Community service, definitely. I think that instead of putting someone on the line to have their life taken away, I think that you could use that person to make things better happen in the world.
Do you feel it's better to put down a mass murderer with the death penalty or to just give that person life in prison?
I don't know, I'd say they're both pretty bad. Like, one's dying and then the other one's like dying slowly. So I feel like both of them are like punishments. I'd say they both have like their own like severities to them that make them both like really bad.
And tradition. Over time in America, people have been desensitized to the idea of citizens being murdered by the law. It was said that one of the types of public executions in Southeast Asia is death by elephant, suffocation, and now I'm going to show you an animated example of this. The idea of someone's bones being crushed as an elephant sits on them may come across to you as unusual and cruel, but it's the same ideas. Criminals were punished to death, criminals were crushed to death, and sometimes they would even be prolonged out over days with a trained elephant, and this was a public event that you could take your children to. Public executions are now frowned upon in society because it seems horrible to watch a person die, but the same things are happening now just behind closed doors. If watching something like this is hard for you, or watching a person being murdered, period, is traumatizing, then why allow our legal systems to kill? Our judicial system does not have the right to put somebody to death. Do you feel like there's ever a time the judicial system, do you feel like the judicial system should be allowed to choose whether or not someone lives or dies?
I don't really think so. I think that it's like, you just shouldn't like let that happen.
To house a death row inmate, so that means someone waiting to die, it costs $900,000 more than it would cost to have a regular inmate stay in life for prison.
Okay. So do I think that it's more cost effective to house them?
I mean, do you just think that that's a good enough reason to get rid of the death penalty because it's...
Oh, okay. So I think it's a good idea to get rid of the death penalty if it costs more just to house the people waiting on death row, because one, the U.S. would save money, and two, technically they're still taking their life away even when they're like in prison for life.
All right. So, if it was more cost effective and faster to have people who committed murder put to death, would you think that we should use the death penalty more?
No, I don't feel like it should just be used nonchalantly, you know. I'm really just for that one instance when you like kill a large amount of people with no regret, that you should be put to death. But other than that, I don't, because like someone could murder someone accidentally or either in the heat of the moment, you know, and like actually regret it. But I think if you're killing large amounts of people, you just like don't care at all.
Okay, so immediately, what are your thoughts about the death penalty?
I disagree with the death penalty. I think that it's cruel and unusual. Every form of death penalty that we've used up so far is cruel and unusual punishment, including the death penalty by lethal injection. We used to think that the lethal injection put people to sleep like that, but actually it's a cocktail of 3 different drugs. One drug paralyzes you and keeps you from moving, and then the other drug, one of the other drugs, it burns you chemically from the inside out. So we didn't know that it was hurting them because they weren't screaming, they weren't, it didn't seem like they were in pain, but in reality, they were in a horrible pain. They just couldn't do anything about it because they were paralyzed. So that seems extremely cruel to me.
Okay, but whether or not the person isn't in pain at all during the process, do you think that it's fair for someone else's life to be taken through the legal system?
I don't think so, because the government, we show people that killing is wrong by killing them. That doesn't seem right to me. It seems hypocritical.
And I agree with that. I have said that we measure every other type of punishment through time. Like you get so many months in jail, so many years in jail. Do you feel like that we should measure murder in time as well?
Murder in time? You mean like life in prison?
Mm-hmm.
It just they rot away and eventually die in there? Well, I think that, we should, incarceration is useful, but I think we should also focus on rehabilitating some of these people. Because some of these murderers, they have serious mental illness, or some of these murderers, very few of them just kill because they're bad, There are very few people that are genuinely bad. Everybody tries to justify something, so, this guy may have he might be schizophrenic, He might have killed this person because he thought it was the right thing to do. He might have killed somebody out of desperation. Does that mean they shouldn't pay for their crime? Absolutely not. But, killing just doesn't seem right because, what if they're innocent?
There's no method, not even a painless injection, that makes it less so. But since there are now issues with what has seemed to be the most effective method of killing, soon there will not be a replacement. Instead, we should focus on the extinction of this practice, as every other method is no longer seeming to be used. So today, I have talked to you about why it's time for our Supreme Court to rule the death penalty unconstitutional. In conclusion, I feel that it's not fair to say that murdering is evil, but allow our justice system to do just that. Isella Wiggins was my sister, and we begged for our father's life. No child should have to go through that.
There's so much stress, but it's the progress that feels the best. Cause I came from the project straight to success, and you're next, so try it. Can't steal your pride, it's inside. Then find it and keep on grinding, cause in every dark cloud there's a silver lining. I know.